Well, I am doing another tag video because I have run out of ideas for videos this week, so why not? I'm doing a lot more tag videos recently. I feel like I'm diluting the brand a little bit. It's probably just my hipsterish side talking. Anyway, well, let's just get on to it before I start rambling on. Hello, everyone. Britton here, also known as Some Okie Dude, and I'm back today with another tag, the 25 questions about to get to know you tag. Sorry, I almost said 25 questions about me. It's the 25 questions to get to know you tag. My friend Logan at Dr. L. Reed's tagged me in this one and a shitload of other ones. So I'm going to answer all 25 questions today, and we are back on the OBS/StreamYard recording because this video might get a little long, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'm hoping that it doesn't get too long, but I'm going to try and get through these as fast as possible, but I make no promises, so because I love to ramble. Anyway, let's get on to these before I get, too rambly and go on a bunch of tangents that have little to do with each other. I should also note before I do this, thank you, Logan, for tagging me in this. Let's get to it, shall we? Let's go. First couple are going to be pretty easy. What is your channel about is number one. What is my channel about? Generally, I cover books, comics, the occasional film or video game or TV show that I think is worth covering. I kind of just cover whatever I want on this channel that just regards storytelling and all that fun stuff. I really like storytelling quite a bit, and I'm very passionate about storytelling, so I want to share it to a bunch of people. But predominantly, I cover books and comics when I get the chance. Hopefully, we'll be covering some more comics this year, because there's some very exciting comic book-related news happening right now. So, yeah, that's what my channel's about. How old are you? I'm 23 years old. I'm going to be turning 24 in March 9th to be specific for anyone who's curious, why? But anyway, excuse me. But anyway, yeah, I'm 23 years old. I'll be 24 in March. What's your relationship status? Single. Occupation is number 4. I am a journalist. I work at my school's newspaper. I work at the newspaper of my college. So, yeah, that's what I'm doing for work. I get paid for it. Though I worked at the previous newspaper, which I'll admit paid better, but don't tell everyone at the Vista that. Anyway, yeah, journalist. I work at my local school's journalism newspaper. I can't speak today. But yeah, that's what I do for a living, at least right now. Number 5. This is one of the last of the real easy questions. Where are you from/live? Well, if my channel name didn't give it away, I am from Oklahoma City to be specific. Born and raised here. I've lived here since I was a young kid. I don't plan on leaving anytime soon. I love the state. I really like the people, and I like how low-key everything is. So, yeah, probably not going to leave anytime soon, because basically everyone I know, well, that isn't on the internet anyway, is out here. So, yeah, I don't really want to move away from that anytime soon, unless I get older and things change, but I doubt that's going to happen. Maybe unless if I get kids in on if kids come into the equation, which I don't want to go that far, but, yeah, I live in Oklahoma. Let's move on. This is where we get into the real complicated questions. Number 6, looking back, what would you tell your 10-year-old self? Well, I don't always like questions like this, but to keep things simple, if there was something I would tell my 10-year-old self, I would tell him, hey, I know you feel pretty weird. I know you feel like you don't fit in. And you know what? You're probably still going to deal with that for as long as you live. That's not going to go away anytime soon. And you're going to have some hard times coming up. But let me tell you something. Just keep going. Because as much bad stuff that has happened in your life so far and what will happen coming up, there's going to be so many great things that will come from living. So just hang on. Everything will be clear. Not everything will be clear, but most things will be clear by the time that you're around 23. And you're going to be okay. I think that's the most important. You're going to be okay. I know sometimes you don't think things are going to be okay. I know sometimes you panic. I still panic even though I'm a 23-year-old man now. But it's going to be fine. Also, try not to slack off so much on your homework. Dad will rip on your ass for that. Anyway, speaking of dads, number 7 is tell us about your family. Well, it's a little personal, but I am an only child. A lot of people say I am lucky for that. I don't comment because I generally am uncomfortable with those comments. There are nice things about being an only child. In that case, you don't have to share attention or anything like that. And also, I can get all these books, and I don't have to worry about any, little humans coming and trying to steal them to just screw with you or be like, I want to be on the PS4 or 5. None of that. But yeah, it's just me, my mom, my dad. I have other family members. I have cousins who live across the street from me, actually. So that's pretty cool. It also has its ups and downs. Though I have always wanted I have always wondered anyway. I don't know if I've always wanted, but I've always wondered what it would be like if I had siblings. It's definitely something that I've missed out on and something I've always been curious about. Though I guess I do technically have siblings because of my cousins across the street. I'll talk a little more about my family later on down in the questions, but we'll just move on. Number 8, what's your favorite holiday? Well, if you guys don't know this already, Christmas. Number 9, you have no budget. What is your dream vacation? I would just love to go to the United Kingdom. I have a lot of friends who live out in the UK. But if I had a dream vacation and just people just chucked money at me to go out there and just go nuts and experience it, I would definitely go to the United Kingdom. I would go to England, Scotland, Ireland, Wales. I would go to all those places, see all the locations, and see where all these writers I love and all these people I've known and all these world events have happened. I would still love to go to London one day. I would also love to travel around the States at some point, kind of like what my friend Josh Pantalaresco is doing. You might have seen him a couple times. He's been on my channel for my podcast. We've done some discussions together on some books and comics. He's a cool dude. I really enjoy him. I would really like to do like a travel around the United States, kind of like what he's doing. But right now, it's, I'm kind of doing a bunch of things at the moment. And there's also things I want to figure out before I do that. But that's my dream vacation, though, would be the UK. I would really love to go to England at some point and just see what everything is about. That would be really fun for me. Number 10, name your biggest pet peeve. My biggest pet peeve, I don't like when people have double standards. That really irritates me to no end. I just, I've grown to identify with a lot of Alan's stuff. Alan from Alexandria. He once said in a stream or a video, I don't remember, but he said that he wished that people were consistent with their standards. And that's something I'm like, fuck yeah, man. Like, I feel that, like that's something it's something that I identify with on a very deeply personal level. So thanks, Alan, for putting that to words. You're a good guy. Number 11, what book changed your life? I've made a couple of videos about this subject. I might link them below if I can find them. But if there's one book that changed my life, and I've talked about it a bunch, it's The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. That was the book that kind of finally convinced me that, you know what, I'm going to give this crazy idea of being a writer a shot. So, yes, I would say what book changed my life. There have been many books that have changed my life, but the first one that comes to my mind is The Great Gatsby. And like I said, I've talked about it a lot before, so I'll link. Maybe I'll see if I can link the video down below. I'll see if I can remember it, because sometimes I say that and I just forget. So, yeah, that's the book that changed my life. Number 12. This is kind of an odd question. What simple invention improved the world? I just kind of went with toothbrushes because it inspired a lot of people to keep up with their oral hygiene. So that's, I'd say that's a pretty massive improvement of the world, better hygiene, hygiene's a good thing. Also, whoever created bats was a genius. Like, that was a pretty good idea. I'm a big hygiene nut, if you didn't gather already. I get real neurotic about that stuff. Number 13, favorite movies / TV shows. This could go on for days, but if I could just go on, movies, Clockwork Orange, There Will Be Blood. I really like the MCU back in its prime. There's a lot of those movies I really like a lot. Captain America: The Winter Soldier is probably my favorite. The original Sam Raimi Spider-Man trilogy, The Dark Knight, Brazil. I really like Brazil a lot. 2001: A Space Odyssey. The Thing is my favorite horror movie of all time. Alien. There's a bunch I could go on, and I don't want to spend forever. As for TV shows, that's another one I could go on forever, but I'll list my top 5 for you guys, for anyone who's interested. So, Breaking Bad, Batman the Animated Series, Cowboy Bebop, the original Twilight Zone, and The Sopranos. Actually, switch the Twilight Zone and Sopranos. Thank you. Thanks, Mom. But yeah, those are my top 5 favorite TV shows, and that's kind of embarrassing that I just flubbed my words like that, because those top 5 are pretty solid, to be honest. I think it was Twilight Zone and Cowboy Bebop, actually, but I digress. I'm getting off topic as is. But yeah, those are my favorite movies and TV shows. I have a bunch of them that I could list. I even have created lists of my favorite movies. That's also something I'll link down below if anyone's interested in looking at them. And TV shows, because I use Mubi from time to time, and that's where I kind of just put my favorite TV shows. I did use IMDb at one point, but IMDb is a piece of shit. I don't like IMDb. It fucking sucks. I mean, I don't like IMDb. Like fuck IMDb. Like, it's terrible. But, I digress. Let's move on to the next question. Describe yourself using 3 fictional characters. This was interesting because there was a lot of characters that kind of went through my mind. I did think Rorschach from Watchmen, but then I thought, yeah, that would be really bad, and I'd have to explain that, like, no, I'm not saying I have this ridiculously insane black and white moral compass. I'm not a violent sociopath, but like I'm not saying that I think he's like an aspirational figure or anything like that. I didn't really want to do that song and dance, so sorry, Rorschach, go away. You're gonna go into the dark recesses of my mind. Batman, for similar reasons, I was kind of like, yeah, that might put some darker parts of myself out there, and I'm not really comfortable with people knowing that. That sounds really bad. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to like say I've done things that are bad, but like, I mean, I have done things that are, wrong, but we all have, but like, that came out wrong. I'm sorry. Let me just get into the 3 fictional characters I feel like best encapsulate me. So let's move on. Number 1 is Sam Clay from The Amazing Adventures of Cavalier and Clay. Now, I should note, like, I'm not gay or anything like that. He is a gay man, which is kind of one of his big plot lines in that book. But I do strongly identify with his passion and desire to be something that most people would just think is insane, which being a comic creator, and I've known a lot of comic creators because I've ran around in those circles, but being a comic creator now is a very difficult thing. Being a comics creator then was insane. Like, that was basically like the lowest hanging fruit type of job. And Sam Clay, sincerely, without any reservation whatsoever, wants to be a comic book writer. And he is very passionate about comics. He's very passionate about storytelling. He's very passionate about pulp entertainment. And I really identify with that because, there's sometimes, I want to be a writer. I've made that very clear on this channel many times. And I definitely identify with that drive. I also really identify with his tendency to retreat into comics, into storytelling, into escapism, which is one of the big themes of that book. Because there's sometimes life just fucking sucks and you don't really know what to do. And you're just kind of ambling around and just tripping all over yourself, not really sure what you're going to do. And, you just need something to distract yourself with. You just need something to go like, you know what, I'm going to read this and I'm going to feel a lot better after reading it. So I identify that a lot with Sam. I also identify with Jacob in that sense as well, but Jacob is a much more tortured character. I don't know if I've gone through the amount of crap that he's gone through in the book, which I won't spoil, but Sam, I do identify with his dream, and I also identify with the kind of struggles of being yourself and kind of retreating back into that sort of escapist, no pun intended, but that kind of escapism, if you will, because the character's called Escapist that they make up. Number 2 is Spider-Man. I've been a Spider-Man fan since I was a kid, ever since I saw the Raimi films when I was a kid. And I really identify with Spider-Man as he's a smart kid, he's a geeky kid, but at the end of the day, he's just a normal guy and he just wants to help people, and that's something that I really identify with as someone who is also very awkward and geeky and can never get out the right words. And I always feel like I'm screwing things up, but I just keep going. And another thing is, like I said, he just keeps going. You can punch him, you can beat him down, you can destroy his life, and he'll just come right back, and he'll come back and hit you even harder. I identify with that. I mean, I don't punch people on a daily basis like he does, but I do identify with the gets knocked down and he keeps getting back up because, that's life, like that's life, man. My third one will be from the book I mentioned earlier, The Great Gatsby, and that's Nick Carroway. Or I guess I'll just say he's the more socially acceptable Rorschach. I identify a lot with Nick's alienation from a lot of people, but also kind of like with Rorschach, I identify very strongly with Nick's sense of disillusionment about the world and dealing with the fact that your hopes and dreams for the world are just being crushed because the world doesn't always give a shit about the world really just doesn't give a shit about what you want. It'll just crush your dreams without even really thinking about it. And that's something I and that kind of pain and angst and disillusionment that he feels in the book is something that I feel very strongly as well. It's something I've wrestled with throughout my life. And throughout my teenage and young adult years. So, yeah, I would say that Nick Carroway is a lot like me in that way. I wouldn't say I'm, like, super rich like he is, or, I'm quite as, what's the word? Judgmental, maybe? I don't know if I'm as judgmental as Nick Carroway, but, yeah. So, that's kind of where I really identify with Nick. That's kind of where my personality kind of comes from in Nick. Number 15, what is your dream job, or what was your dream job? I've gone through a couple things. I initially wanted to be in the military when I was a kid. I remember watching a bunch of war movies when I was a kid, and I thought like that was awesome. I was a kid, so cut me some slack here. But I really liked the kind of honor that comes from it and all that. I'm still quite fascinated by military history, so I've maintained that. But I've watched a couple movies, and I've known people who are in the military, and I've seen like the boot training and stuff, and I've realized that perhaps that's not really for me. Because I'm a bit of a sensitive soul, so I probably wouldn't be able to cope with it. And hey, no knock to people who are in the military. As I like to say, that is for people who are far braver than I am. I did think about being like a marine biologist for a while, though I hate to admit this, but it was because the word marine was in the title, and I thought that was pretty awesome. I thought they were like underwater special ops or some shit. No, it's not that. You have to like dive and look at fish. It's like I abandoned that, and then I'm like, you know what? I've always been an imaginative guy, and then I read The Great Gatsby, and I'm like, nope, you're a writer. That's what you want to do. So now my dream job is I want to write books and have people pay me for it. That would be very nice. Number 16. If magic was real, what spell would you learn first? That's a good question. I don't generally think about this very often, but if I could learn a spell of magic, I would definitely learn how to turn into an animal, because stuff like animagi or druids in the D&D game, I think are just the fucking coolest thing on the planet. Like, turning into an animal, like, that sounds fucking awesome. That's probably why I like werewolves so much, though with werewolves, it's not voluntary, and it's probably not cool to be a werewolf. It probably really sucks. But, I would really like to learn how to become an animal. That would be a lot of fun. Where I could like change into an animal and then change back into myself. You know, like Sirius Black or something. That would be pretty awesome. I would love to learn how to do that. That would be pretty awesome. So yeah. Number 17. Share a favorite childhood memory. Now I actually have a thing for it. So let me just get this. All right, so one of my favorite childhood memories is actually one. I was in the 2nd grade, and there was a guy who lived across the street from me. His name was Jimmy, and he was the kicker for the Oklahoma Sooners football team. And he had offered to let some of the OU players come to my elementary school at the time and hang out and have a good time, and we would go outside and kick footballs, and he would show us how to do that. He brought a couple of the other OU football players with him, and I actually, to this day, still have the football that they gave me. It's a bit flattened, but it's still a very prized possession of mine. It's a bunch of the OU players at the time, and this was back when OU was like peak, like, you know, Bob Stoops was running it in 2008. It was that kind of really great year we had with Sam Bradford, who actually went to my high school. And they all signed it, and they gave it to me, and we had food. We had McDonald's. It was really awesome, and a bunch of the kids had a lot of fun, and I had a lot of fun. And I've never gotten the chance to thank Jimmy for that, and if Jimmy ever watches this video, which I highly doubt he will, but if he ever does, thanks, man, for coming to my school and giving me this awesome football and for creating a great memory. I really enjoyed that a lot. So yeah. Another one would probably be watching The Shining with my mom. That was a really fun experience. I remember when we were in Texas and we watched The Shining, and I got spooked out by that like corpse lady. That was something. I really enjoyed that memory a lot too. So hi, Mom, if you watch this. So yeah, that's a favorite childhood memory. Number 18, favorite social media platform. Aside from YouTube, I really love YouTube a lot. I mean, I'm on here, so I mean, I remember one of my other big dreams I forgot to mention earlier was become a YouTube content creator. I watched like CA Cox 97 when I was a kid, and I just remember thinking I want to do something like that, or Machinima, or something like that. I want to do something like that. Maybe not as a job, but I wanted to do something like that, and now I'm here. This is my 3rd channel that I've had. I had a gaming channel a long time ago, which I don't really talk about because a lot of the content on there I'm a little embarrassed of because I was younger and I was just kind of off the cuff, just saying whatever random bullshit came to my mind. I also had a political channel, which was even worse. I don't like looking back on that fondly. And now this channel, which I'm mostly okay with. I do gripe at myself because I'm just notoriously hard on myself. But YouTube is one of my favorite social media platforms. Facebook is another one I really like. I really like the connection with people. I enjoy Facebook a lot. I also like Twitter as well, which is probably why I've stubbornly stayed on Twitter when no one else has. So yeah, there you go on that. So that's my favorite social media platform. If number 19, if you could choose any book character, who would you spend a day with? This was actually this was easier than I thought it would be, and it's actually a more recent character, and that's Augustus Gus McCrae from Lonesome Dove. He just seems like a good dude, a really fun guy to hang out with. I'm sure he would have a lot of fun and interesting stories that he would come up with, and just, that's kind of his thing. He talks a lot of shit. That's what he does. He talks shit. He likes to prattle on. He likes to get under people's skin. He would probably annoy me a little bit, to be honest with you, but he would also be very, very entertaining. So I would probably hang out with Augustus McCrae. He seems like a very cool, interesting kind of dude. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I would like to hang out with Augustus McCrae. Number 20, what's your spirit animal? That was a hard one because, there's a couple of animals that I really like, like chimpanzees, and I really love wolves. I think wolves are just fucking awesome. I also really like, apes and wolves. I would probably be like some kind of ape because I've loved apes since I was a kid. Like, I've loved Planet of the Apes. I love the original movies. I love the reboot trilogy that they did a long time ago. The Matt Reeves one that came out about 10 years back. So I would go with like chimpanzee or something, or maybe a more chill gorilla. So I would probably say the orangutan. I think orangutan would be a good spirit animal. He just chills, man. He just chills and does his thing. He's an orangutan. He doesn't really screw with anybody. If you look at him wrong, he won't like tear your face off. That's kind of how I am. I just like to chill out and have a good time. So that's also one reason I really like Gus McCrae. Is just he just like me, just likes to chill out and have a good time. We're not complicated. So there you go on number 19 there. Number 21, what old person thing do you do? I don't know if this is an old person thing, but this is something my grandma does that I've also picked up. So so I'm considering it an old person thing. But I really like to collect quarters. You can see my jar here. A close friend's mom gave this to me, so thank you if you watch this. She's probably not, but if she does, thank you. But I like collecting quarters, not for like money reasons, but just I like quarters. I like flipping them. I like messing with them. I like collecting them. My grandma's a similar way. So it was kind of my grandma who got me into it. So, Nanny, if you watch this, why are you watching this? I'm cursing a little bit on here, so she would probably be a bit aghast, but thanks, Nanny, for getting me into quarter collecting. So, yeah. Number 22, do you have a hidden talent? Yes, I do impersonations. I used to be a lot better at them when I was younger. I don't do them as much anymore because they kind of suck now. I used to do one of Kermit the Frog when I was at church camp, and the kids freaking loved it. Like nowadays, when I try to do it, it just sounds like Dr. Nick from The Simpsons. So, hi, everybody. That's just not... It's not as good as it used to be, is all I'm saying. So, yes, I can do vocal impersonations. I've been able to do them since I was a kid. Am I going to do any for you guys? I'm never going to say never, but I'm leaning on no. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm just the worst. Number 23, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Don't know. Hopefully writing. Hopefully being successful while writing. That would be nice. Because the last thing I would like to happen is end up in a boring kind of job doing just random bullshit like my dad does. I love my dad, but I don't want a job like that. So, yeah. Hopefully being successful with writing. And I love you, Dad. Don't take them. I'm throwing shade at you here. Speaking of my dad, though, number 24, share an item and tell us its significance. There was a couple things I thought about sharing, but I'm gonna share a photo of a younger version of myself, so bear with me here. I'm gonna block out my face, but here's a photo. Hold on, let me just block here. Here's a photo of my dad, who you might recognize from Days of Our Sooners. So that's why I'm not blocking his face. There's little me. There's my uncle, who you can see with the suit, the black suit, and my grandfather, who has sadly passed away a few years ago. Grandpa John. He passed away a few years ago. And this was a photo we took on Christmas. We had gone around in a limo, and we took this photo in my house. So that's by my front door. And I don't really know why I love this photo so much, but I've always loved this photo. I've always liked this photo of myself and my dad and my uncle and my granddad. Again, I don't know why, but I really like this one of us together, just kind of the generations, there's my granddad, there's my dad, there's my uncle, and then there's me. And we're just kind of standing there, and we're having a good time, and we're smiling, and I just look just absolutely. Why is my eyes so wide open? But anyway, I just really love this photo, and it means a lot to me. And a few years ago, we were kind of moving stuff around in the office, and my dad was like, hey, do you want any photos in here? And I'm like, I would like this photo specifically because I've always liked it. So, jeez. Trying to block their faces for privacy reasons. Now it's showing my uncle's mouth. This is ridiculous. But I wanted this photo, and I asked my dad to give it to me, and he did. We framed it, so thanks, Dad, for helping me frame it. And I really like this photo. So yeah, this photo is an item that's very significant to me. So, number 25, last question here is tag some people, but it's not really a question, I suppose. So, I have a few, and there were a couple that I've noticed that I tag a lot, so I decided to kind of give them a break, so you're welcome. So, there's a couple I'd like to tag. I'll tag the homie Darko from Kindles and Kicks, who's a good friend of the channel, cool guy. I'm actually about to have a read-along with him soon. Alicia from Birdies in the Books, who is joining us on that same read along. Samwise, I really like his channel, and he's just a cool dude, and I want to see him do a tag video, so go nuts, Sam. And of course, Robin from Only the Best Fantasy Novels, because I don't know, I thought he would have fun with this question. I thought he'd have fun with this questionnaire, but yeah, that's it. Let me see how long we're going. 32 minutes, not too bad. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I really enjoyed making this video. Thank you, Logan, for tagging me in this, and hopefully the guys who I do tag will enjoy being tagged in this as well. So, yeah, not too much to say. Let's wrap this up. So, if you guys like this video, like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. Find me on Twitter. You can find me on Goodreads and Letterboxd, where I write reviews that are probably more coherent than the one you just heard right now. You can find me on Instagram and Blue Sky. I don't really use Blue Sky all that much, though I am starting to slowly get the hang of it. Also, like I said, like, subscribe, do all that stuff. As my buddy John Minton likes to say, it feels good when you do it. Comment. I love hearing comments from you guys. Not really much else for me to say, so let me just wrap this up. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Till next time. Bye-bye.